Darth, Theorist, rise. What if Anakin Skywalker embraced being the chosen one? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. As the last residue of Qui-Gon's ashes is swept away in the Coruscant air, the small but unusual ceremony comes to an end. Normally, Jedi have their remains interred in the temple, but Qui-Gon had insisted on such a burial for himself. He claimed he wished to become one with the living force, and this was the best way to fulfill that desire. When the last words are spoken, the ceremony comes to an end, and the crowd begins to disperse. For Anakin, it is not a moment too soon. He is eager to have a moment of quiet away from the prying eyes of the Jedi Order, away from their hushed voices, and away from the unspoken expectations they are placing on him. Though they are tight-lipped about the exact details, he understands his ascension into the Order is something highly unprecedented. One reason is his age, but there are mutterings of other things: unusual power, strange circumstances, and vague mentions of prophecies. For Anakin, these are just words and expectations, but while he does not fully decipher their meaning, he does understand the expectations that they begin to place on him. Some reject him out of protocol, but he suspects there is more to it, and others who wish to see him join their ranks, not just out of faith in him, but also of concern of what he might be. All of those thoughts hang in his mind and continue to prod at his back until he hurries away from the crowded areas. He instead finds a secluded spot in the corner of the garden, around an old tree that stands taller and grander than the rest. It stands out amidst the bricks and steel that make up the temple and the planet as a whole.
I thought I might find you here, young one.
Anakin turns to see the older boy sitting on one of the low branches. He offers a tight smile as he leaps down and joins him on the grass.
I just needed a break from everything. From the Jedi.
A bold statement from one who may soon join our ranks. Though, in reality, I cannot blame you. There is much to debate on what to do about you. It's quite intense. I wish to see you be granted the same opportunity I was.
It makes me kind of wish the Jedi won't let me join, just so I don't have to worry about this any longer.
He pauses, wondering if he said anything that might have upset the young Padawan. After all, it was what his master wanted in his dying wish, but to his relief, there is understanding in the boy's eyes.
They see you as a question of their rules, defiance incarnate, but you shouldn't let their words get to you. Know this, Qui-Gon saw you as far more than that.
Did he? You said something about my midichlorians.
Indeed. I was the one who ran the tests on it, but that wasn't it. He said that you were going to be one of the best of us one day, that you bring something that the Jedi sorely lacked. Change, a willingness to learn and grow beyond what we've known. He said that you weren't going to be a Jedi like Master Windu or even Yoda. You were going to be something entirely new. Perhaps better.
When he looks at Anakin, he is surprised to see the boy starting to tear up. Obi-Wan smiles and pats his shoulder, seeing the shift in his young friend. There is more certainty in his posture, and he appears quietly determined as he stares at the grass, faint sparks of Qui-Gon's ashes sprinkled on it. Obi-Wan promises to speak to the Jedi Council and asks that Anakin get some rest. As the boy makes his way back to his chambers, he turns a corner and bumps into a man in dark robes. The Jedi is grizzled and tall, with dark blue hair and high, aristocratic features. Yet those same features seem troubled, stormy.
Best watch your step, young one.
Apologies, Master. Are you a Jedi Master?
I am. You are that youth Qui-Gon picked up in his recent travels, I presume. You've caused quite a stir in the Jedi Council about your admission.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. This is the most I've seen some of those old fossils move in some time. They could use the stimulation. However, I am curious. I have heard their thoughts and those of Qui-Gon's young student, but I have yet to hear your opinion on this matter.
The question was asked casually enough, but Anakin senses Dooku's eyes upon him. They have an intensity that makes it clear this is not some simple small talk. The Jedi Master looks as if he's trying to force an answer out. Anakin worries that he might say the wrong thing. However, he slowly swallows and meets his look.
I want to bring change. Qui-Gon said that the Jedi are losing their way, their judgment clouded, that they no longer understand the force that they claim to uphold. He says that they need someone to bring balance. I want to be that Jedi.
Dooku stares at the boy for a long moment, surprised by his answer. It was a bold claim, and one not expected of someone so young. Despite that, when he looks at Anakin in the eye, he could see conviction in what he says. This isn't him parroting the words of another, but something he believes in. The Jedi Master's heart twists at the thought of that. He thinks of what he's done, and who he's had to ally with recently. The memory of dueling his friend Yaddle is still fresh in his mind, but when he hears this, his heart begins to lighten for the first time. He says nothing, but gives an approving nod and ruffles the boy's hair. When the time comes for Obi-Wan to push for Anakin's admission into the Jedi Order, he receives unexpected support from Dooku. While he is not a member of the Council, he is one of the oldest serving Jedi Masters, and his name carries respect. When they express concern about how young the Padawan is to take a student, Dooku volunteers to also teach the boy. It is a bold declaration, and one the Jedi cannot decline, as it addresses their main issue. While some question Dooku's methods, his name carries weight, and some are willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. The Jedi agree, and Obi-Wan looks at the older man gratefully. Anakin is excited when he hears this, even as Dooku orders him to pack his things and prepare to leave. Dooku explains that they will not train there. If he is to truly be the Chosen One, he cannot learn like any other Jedi. He must train like Qui-Gon. As they depart into the night, Dooku takes a copy of the holocron that details the prophecy of the Chosen One. A Chosen One shall come, born of no father, and through him will the ultimate balance in the Force be restored. Those words burn into Anakin's mind as they take off and begin touring the galaxy. To start, Dooku takes Anakin to Jedha, where he studies within the halls of its ancient temple, devouring the culture and history that is offered to him. Here, he sits with his monks and mystics and debates philosophy with them. After that, he takes him to Tython, a journey that proves long and difficult due to its distance from major hyperspace lanes. Despite that, it gives Anakin a chance to meditate in the wilderness, untouched by the Jedi or Republic for generations. The sensation is unlike anything Anakin's ever felt. He feels the powers flowing through him, but also swirling around him as the Force energy is particularly in the air. He inhales deeply and feels himself growing stronger with each breath. In contrast, their next trip is to an industrial world, one where the air is particularly choking. Anakin coughs and covers his mouth, feeling his head spinning.
What is this place?
Belmora. This planet was once rich in the Force, no different than Tython or Jeddah, but years of neglect, lax policies have turned this place into this. Although the Jedi vowed to protect this world, in truth, we allowed it to fall into the sway of the wealthy and influential, allowed them to turn this planet into this.
Why do you show us this, Master?
Because I want you to understand what it means to be a Jedi, what we must protect, and what failure to do so truly means. This is far from the only example.
Unfortunately for the young Jedi, Dooku is not shy about showing that fact. As their travels continue, Dooku takes him to the same places that he had investigated with Qui-Gon in his youth, places that have declined in importance and fallen to the wayside, planets that have become ruins and slums to line the pockets of their senators. He takes them to active conflict zones, where rival factions quarrel with each other over where corporations try to expand their influence upon helpless worlds. All of these places are neglected by the Jedi, all because the Senate does not deem them important enough. As they talk to the people, they all discuss the same thing, how the Jedi have gone distant. They rule far away from Coruscant and leave the people there to suffer. Dooku feels his chest tighten at the sight, but Anakin takes to this well. He understands this pain more than anyone else. He grew up a slave and had only known oppression, so when these people talk about their struggles, they find a ready ear. Obi-Wan and Anakin begin working with Dooku to help these people. They help resolve conflicts and battle gangs who challenge the Republic's influence in these places, while Dooku offers what financial assistance he can. Yet at the same time, he secretly fills the people's heads with ideas of sedition and to leave the Republic altogether. Anakin remains oblivious to this, but strives forward, eager to help them in any way he can, slowly becoming a symbol of hope for the Jedi, representing what they could be. When they at last return to Coruscant, Anakin returns much older and wiser than before. Some are troubled by the unorthodox training method set up by Dooku, but they cannot deny the success. Anakin emerges stronger than ever. His training hardens him and gives him practical experience in both the Force and combat. This allows him to best even the Jedi's top knights and showcase powers that most Padawans his age are not taught. As Dooku steps back and Obi-Wan takes over his training, many in the Jedi Order decide that Anakin is ready to take part in missions. Not only does this allow him to cut his teeth on the battlefield, These are missions in support of the Republic, rather than simply being mercy missions. They are sanctioned by the Senate, and are careful to avoid causing too much controversy with their methods. This keeps the pair busy, but allows Dooku to abandon the Jedi Order without anyone noticing. Though he is touched by Anakin's efforts, the grizzled Jedi believes the Jedi Council will never allow true reform to take place in their order. Dooku instead announces that he will leave the Jedi Order after further disagreements with them over the handling of missions. When Anakin hears this, he is stunned and wishes to go look for him, but the Jedi Council prevents this. They remind him that attachment is against their code, and if the Force wants them to find him, he will appear. For the first time, Anakin is furious at the Jedi Council and wishes to protest against it. However, Obi-Wan pulls him aside and warns him against this, warning that the Jedi Council operates differently than with Dooku. All he can really do is grit his teeth and swallow his frustration. This allows Dooku to begin building the CIS in secret. His missions with Anakin served not just to raise awareness for the chaos surrounding the galaxy, but also to help him gather allies. As he talks, he wins over allies and identifies those who might be willing to join his organization. Meanwhile, Anakin continues to grow stronger and stronger, until many believe he is ready to reach the next step of his journey and become a knight. But even his success in the Jedi Order leaves him conflicted, as he is assigned to watch over Padme. Although he takes his role as the Chosen One seriously, he cannot deny his emotions and finds himself falling for her. Soon enough, the CIS grows stronger until they emerge into the galaxy from Geonosis. The battle is chaotic, and Anakin sees the full power of the droid army firsthand. He realizes just how precarious the position is of the Republic and feels the Force shifting, not becoming more balanced, but becoming more muddled as the Sith now reveal themselves. To everyone's surprise, as the CIS begins its war effort, many of its parliament members personally reach out to Anakin and other like-minded Jedi and ask them to join the CIS. This audacity takes many leaders off guard, yet there is more to their claim than simple boldness. Many of them had met with Anakin personally. They have seen his desire to protect them and improve their lives. Unlike the rest of the Jedi, they can tell his efforts are sincere, and they truly believe that he will understand his cause. While, in the end, Anakin refuses such offers, this leaves him shaken. He knew many of those people, fought with them, saved them, listened to their stories. He understands they are not doing this out of greed, just as the Republic claims. They have legitimate grievances with how things are handled. It isn't enough to stop him from fighting the war, but it does change how he carries himself. While he still sees them as foes, he can't ever see them as villains. So Anakin makes a bold request. He wishes for an independent force, away from the standard chain of command. While some are reluctant, many have seen Anakin's success, and reason that he has more than earned this. The war front shifts in ways no one expects. Where other Jedi generals drive their armies forward in lightning strikes or overwhelming assaults, Anakin Skywalker's command moves differently. The rest are willing to write this newly formed CIS forces as traitors and rage against their destruction. He advocates for mercy. His new division, Jedi Knights, Padawans, and carefully chosen clone legions, fight hard when pressed, but try to avoid conflict when necessary. He instead focuses on healing the wounds caused by the war, exercising restraint. Seeing the type of people joining the CIS, Anakin isn't interested in destroying them, but rather working through negotiation when they can, and only fighting when absolutely necessary. This gives Anakin some success, as on one mid-rim world, a separatist-aligned governor surrenders not because his droid forces are destroyed, but because Anakin offers him terms. He will use his army to help them rebuild and personally bring their issues before the Republic. The battle ends in hours, rather than weeks. It becomes a pattern. Anakin strikes hard at droid armies, but treats separatist leaders as people to be heard. When clones capture prisoners, they are not slaughtered or abandoned. And yet, not every situation ends so well. There are some battles, such as that on Onderon, where the king offers terms and appears willing to end the conflict, only to unleash his soldiers upon Anakin and his Jedi when entering the city. Anakin manages to rally his people and cut his way out. Once he reunites with the rest of the army, he organizes a counterattack. The battle ends with a victory as they capture the capital, but it results in the deaths of 3 Jedi and many clones. The Jedi Council notices this, and some call him a savior, while others call him naive and foolish.
We are not destroying them for disagreeing. We are bringing justice for inciting rebellion.
If we crush every world that resists, what balance is left to bring?
And what of their own injustices?
If they are willing to work with the Republic, surely we can reach an agreement here.
A murmur ripples amongst the masters. Yoda's ears twitch. Thoughtful. Kiarimundi frowns.
You bring their grievances before the Senate. Do you believe them justified?
Yes. Many of them are. The Republic has failed worlds. left them vulnerable to corruption, corporate greed, and neglect. I've seen it myself. I cannot in good conscience call them villains for seeking redress.
The words land like a shockwave, yet Anakin stands by them. Obi-Wan stands up and places a hand on his shoulder.
If my former Padawan believes this is the case, then I shall stand by him.
They take these words right to the Senate, and unsurprisingly, many are not pleased with what they hear. Senators respond with disbelief, shouting at Anakin and calling him a traitor and a CIS spy. They denounce these ideas and say that they will not make peace. Palpatine calls for order, but looks over at Anakin, his eyes gleaming with renewed interest.
Sympathy with the Confederacy. That is dangerous talk.
Then call it dangerous if you must. But I will not lie. I have listened to them. If we pretend they are all traitors, we blind ourselves, and then they will fight to the bitter end. Balance will never come through denial.
Many senators dislike this, but the words have been passed, and one voice, the one who matters, speaks out above the rest.
Our job in this war is to end it and restore peace. If Master Skywalker is able to accomplish that without bloodshed, then I see no reason why this is an issue, especially if it preserves our strength.
With that, some senators begin to change their tune. That night, in her apartment overlooking the Senate district, Padme listens as Anakin paces restlessly.
They think I'm a traitor, that I'm one step away from joining Dooku, all because I refuse to paint the galaxy in absolutes.
No, Anakin. You're not a traitor. You're doing what the Senate should have done. Listening. If the Jedi cannot see that, it only means they've grown too rigid. Qui-Gon would have stood with you. He would have been proud, as I am now.
For the first time that day, he allows himself a smile. And yet the situation does not progress as he likes. Though he presented their grievances, it does not mean the Senate intends to act on them. As Anakin returns to the front, he leaves things to Padme, hoping she can somehow figure out how to handle the situation and gather support. After the incident on Coruscant, Palpatine is sure to send Anakin into the thick of the action. On the battlefield against enemies like Grievous and Dirge, who know only violence and brutality, he has no need to offer mercy. Instead, he unleashes his full fury on them. While he might prefer peace over war, the Jedi General is still well versed in combat. His soldiers strike like a battering ram, striking deep into CIS space and smashing their armies in battle after battle. He focuses on liberating worlds that have been captured by the CIS and restoring them to Republic control. Soon, multiple planets are recaptured and driven back, and these worlds celebrate. Anakin savors this praise, and even his most adherent rivals acknowledge his success. But still, he ruffles feathers with his plan. He does not follow the high command, but goes about creating his strategies his own way. Although the Jedi Council and Republic repeatedly attempt to bring him under control, Anakin insists that only the Force guides him. It is true that each time he enters a planet, Anakin spends his time meditating before committing to a battlefield. He seeks to understand the state of the planet and its people before developing a battle plan so that it maximizes its benefits. However, this also consumes much of his time. This allows the Senate to handle his suggestions. While Anakin relayed their concerns, it does not mean that the Senate intends to act on them. Padme tries to press them to take further action, to move reforms forward that will address their needs. But she is stonewalled every time. The Senate delays votes, adds new requirements that must be met, and questions the validity of their concerns. Palpatine also helps, discreetly deploying their allies to try and stir up trouble that can let the Senate question whether they are sincere about these reforms. All of this is coupled with the unusual concerns. Skywalker listens too closely to separatist grievances, speaks too passionately of reform, and commands too much loyalty from soldiers. Palpatine never says the words outright, but he makes certain they are repeated. In the Jedi Temple, the same doubts fester. Masters sit in meditation chambers, debating not only Anakin's rashness, but his judgment, his sympathies for the Confederacy, his challenges to the Council's authority. While he is successful, many fear this may lead to the passing of darkness. The vast hall thunders with voices. Padme stands at the center podium.
These reforms are not luxuries. They're necessities. Worlds are crying out for justice, for protection from corporate abuse. We cannot keep delaying. All we do is push them into the hands of the CIS.
I have fought for these people. I have bled with them. If you deny their grievances, then you deny the very republic you claim to serve.
The presiding chair pounds his gavel for order, as boos and cheers echo through the chamber. Senators from powerful blocs stall, filibuster, and demand endless amendments. The reforms are smothered in procedure. Later that night, desperate for distraction, the two of them spend some quality time together, a private dinner in a restaurant whose owner they trust. But what they do not know is a spy is sent to observe them, not for the Senate, but for the tabloids. The holonet erupts. The scandal isn't framed as senatorial corruption, but as proof of Anakin and Padme's secret collusion and their forbidden marriage. They seem far too close for simply being colleagues and allies. The way they smile at each other, the way they laugh, and even trade several kisses. The council is silent when the news breaks. Then the storm begins.
Attachment, secrecy, all violations of the Jedi Code. And with a senator of Padme Amidala's influence, the political entanglements are staggering. He has involved himself in politics to a degree unfounded than ever before.
If these sympathies for the Separatists are true, then Skywalker has compromised not only himself, but the Order. This is him forwarding his agenda, that of the CIS.
He has done great service to the Republic. Yes, this is hardly an acceptable relationship, and yet he does not disprove the necessity of their actions. Do not let his misjudgment tarnish what he has said.
I know my student. While he loves hard, his heart is in the right place.
His heart is what troubles me. Even if it is collusion, we cannot deny that he has not handled the situation well. Perhaps it is best if we look at him more closely.
Padme suffers as much as Anakin. HoloNet commentators accuse her of using him as a pawn to advance Naboo's idealism. Senators call her compromised, her reforms tainted. On Coruscant, petitions circulate demanding Anakin's removal. In the temple, whispers turn to open accusations. Even his allies cannot shield him. When the Order finally comes to suspend him, Anakin's division refuses to obey. His clones stand with him, helmets lowered in defiance. Jedi who have fought at his side refuse to leave his command. And when they try to force him to resign, threatening to use the Force, the troops depart Coruscant altogether, their transports streaking into hyperspace. When they arrive in the Midrim, they are met with celebration. On world after world that Anakin liberated, crowds pour into the streets. Farmers, miners, and governors rally to him, cheering the general who fought for them when no one else would. Anakin stands before them, cloaked in dust and battle-worn armor, and for the first time since Coruscant, he feels the Force guiding him clearly. He rests a bit easier and relaxes, letting the Force course through him. The Republic may see a traitor, the Council may see a heretic, but here, among the people, he is the chosen one. The Midrim becomes Anakin's stronghold and his prison. Worlds cheer his name, but the Republic calls him a renegade. His division is loyal to him alone. Thousands of clones and Jedi who trust their general more than the Council, but they have no hope of reinforcements. The attack comes without warning. A contested world, thick with forests and jagged canyons, erupts in fire as Separatist warships descend. Droid armies pour into the valleys, cutting off supply lines and encircling Anakin's forces. The skies blaze with vulture droids as turbo lasers thunder in the distance. In the chaos, a single shuttle lands, its ramp lowers, and Count Dooku steps forward, his crimson blade igniting with a hiss.
Skywalker, it ends here. Surrender your army and I will grant them mercy. Resist, and they will all be destroyed.
Anakin steps forward, igniting his own saber.
You speak of mercy while sending slaves of metal to butcher innocents. You've become the very tyrant you claim to despise.
Their blades clash in a storm of sparks. Dooku is elegant, measured. He unleashes a series of careful strikes that Anakin meets and backbeats with a brutal slash. He then advances towards the Count, sacrificing his precision for aggression as he sweeps his lightsaber. Dooku steps back from the assault, yielding ground and trying to press Anakin with lightning. But even this attack falters as he catches it with his weapon and absorbs it. As the smoke clears, the Jedi rush at him, sweeping his lightsaber down and trying to cut the Count down. Slowly, the attacks rain and allow Dooku to study them carefully. And from there, he begins to see how badly outmatched he is. The technique is not new to him. He has seen something like this before, from Qui-Gon. The wildness, but also the passion in each strike. It is power unleashed, but unbowed by Jedi dogma. Dooku hesitates, seeing not a reckless boy, not a Padawan's pawn, but Qui-Gon's vision reborn.
Look at yourself. You condemn the Jedi for hypocrisy, yet you serve a Sith who embodies everything you claim to fight against. Is that Qui-Gon's legacy? Is that yours?
The words pierce deeper than any strike. Memories surge. Qui-Gon's laughter, his stubborn defiance, his unwavering belief. For the first time in years, Dooku falters, his guard lowers. Then, with a sharp cry, he drops his lightsaber into the ground.
Enough. Lay down your arms. By command, you will surrender to Skywalker.
The Separatist officers hesitate, stunned by Dooku's iron will. One by one, the droid armies stand down, their blasters falling silent. Across the canyon, the battle dies in stunned silence. Anakin's soldiers cheer, but he stares at Dooku in disbelief.
Why?
Because you are not what he is. Palpatine twisted me into this thing I swore to destroy. Even now, he tasked me to destroy your army to help you turn to the dark side and pull you into his arms, while I would become your enemy. But I can't do that to you. I am no chosen one, but I will help you defeat the dark side in whatever way I can.
In the coming days, they begin to plan their next move. With Dooku, Anakin now has the army to challenge his foes, and without fear from the CIS, he turns his attention to Coruscant. There, his armada appears from hyperspace, not as invaders, but as a negotiation party. In the Senate chamber, Anakin stands with Padme at his side, and Dooku's formal terms in hand: the complete surrender of separatist forces and the punishment of the Confederacy's corrupt council. In return, Anakin demands not only reinstatement, but the passage of long-delayed reforms. The Senate cannot ignore him now. The war is ending, but only because Skywalker and Dooku defied Palpatine's game. They might call for delays, but if they declare such an offer, they will alienate everyone. Senators murmur in shock, weighing their options, but when the vote comes to pass, it passes by a wide margin, and Palpatine, in his office, watches as his carefully designed plan begins to unravel. In the coming days, he tries to disappear into the shadows, but Dooku will not let him go. He sends word to the Jedi Council, who hunt him down and kill him. With that, the reforms begin to pass, with Anakin spearheading the effort. While some of them might still talk about his marriage, none can truly question him now that he has brought a balance to the Force. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.